The Elimination Chamber starts to fill up with 4 qualifying matches. Next, triple threats and tag matches rule the week, so let's start the 10 count with topic number 1, RKO Time, and you have to love matches with stakes, and it is the season for Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, so let's go through each of them. And it started with a triple threat with Tiffany Stratton beating Lash legend and Chelsea Green. No surprise here to see Tiffy get back on track after being the runner-up at the Royal Rumble. And she got the pin with a rolling senton and prettiest moonsault ever on Chelsea. But Chelsea suffered more than just a loss as her ankle looked pretty nasty, and that would cost her the AAA mixed tag team titles over the weekend, following a pretty good coast-to-coast dropkick on Lash. And Lash was impressive yet again, showing off her power with a gorilla press where she slammed Tiffy down onto Chelsea and also had a chokeslam on Tiffy as well. But somehow, 2 of the 3 wrestlers had assistance, but yet neither Nia nor Alba could help to get their buddies a win. And Tiffy was the one who was all alone, and of course she won it. But then the SmackDown main event went to Randy Orton after he defeated both Aleister Black and Solo Sikoa after RKOing each of them to pin Sikoa. So of course there was no surprise here, and the action in the ring was just fine, though each man certainly did some solid work. More interesting was what we saw before the matches, first with Black and Zelina coming up to Orton during his interview, in which he said this would be his 10th Elimination Chamber match. Black told Orton that they are grateful to have at least one part of you remaining following the recent retirements, and that doesn't seem like something that you'd say for a throwaway line, so perhaps we'll get more from these two going forward, which I do think would be pretty entertaining. And also interesting that Solo Sikoa couldn't find the rest of the MFT at the screen glitching right before the match, and with the rest of the Wyatt Six not appearing in Dallas's earlier video, it seems like they may well have been abducted by them to set up a match between the 2 group leaders, or at least force Sikoa to give up the lantern to get them back. Topic number 2, a Bloody Nightmare, as on Raw, the qualifiers continued with Rhea defeating both Lyra and Ivy, and it was really Ivy who was the star of this show, who landed a double German suplex, and then while she was in the tree of woe was able to German Rhea while she was about to superplex Lyra. She also had a spinning Uranagi, a Dragon Sleeper, and reversed a Riptide into a backstabber for good measure, but Lyra looked to have it won with a Nightwing on Ivy, but of course Rhea connected on a running knee to stop the pin, and then a Riptide to Lyra to advance to the chamber. Tough one for Lyra there, as she and Bayley just can't seem to gain any momentum at the moment, but you had to know that Rhea would advance, but will she end up meeting her tag team partner inside that chamber? And then in the main event, LA Knight survived an incursion by the Vision to land a BFT on Theory to beat both him and Penta. Oddly, followed by the women's match with another suplex interrupting move as Theory powerbombed Knight as he was about to superplex Penta. This was also the 2nd straight week without a Mexican Destroyer by Penta, which is a shame as he wasn't featured quite enough here. You had to know that the Vision wouldn't listen to Adam Pearce's earlier threat, and they would try to help out. But Knight could only hold them off for a matter of moments before Reed took care of him and landed a tsunami. But as they were being escorted out by Pierce and the security guards, the Masked Man was back to superkick and stomp Theory. So the Vision ran off chasing him through the arena, only for Knight to end it with that BFT. And after announcing Breaker's injury at the top of the show, I was not sure if they'd put the Masked Man on ice, but nope, they kept on going, so I guess there's still hope for both Breaker and Rollins to make their returns in time for WrestleMania, and let's hope so, but at least they can play it safe now and just hold off the match by returning either of them until after WrestleMania, if that's what it takes for them to be good to go. So, topic number 3, the real title, as the 3rd time was the charm just for Drew McIntyre to be able to say something on SmackDown, as this love triangle between McIntyre, Rhodes, and Fatu continues, this time with both Rhodes and Fatu getting the better of McIntyre earlier in the night before Aldis had to kick both of them out. So McIntyre finally could get his words out, And other than calling out those two and Sami Zayn, I am a bit confused by this promo, as it was really a babyface promo, putting over both the undisputed WWE title as the real title by bringing up legends of the past as the men who built it, and also saying that he's got entire rosters fighting over fighting him to be the real champion at WrestleMania. And then also saying that he'd never go part-time and that he's earned this title, which of course he has. But this was by being the most well-rounded bad guy on the WWE roster, so let's not smooth out all of those rough edges to have this make him such a compelling Scottish psychopath. And based on the triple threat between Rhodes, Fatu, and Zayn, it feels like Rhodes wins that one, Fatu gets a title match at the Elimination Chamber, and Zayn gets into a further depression. So topic number 4, Punk Placeholder. But for that other title, Finn Balor wasn't done in trying to get one more title chance, and he succeeded by refusing to fight CM Punk unless it was for the World Heavyweight title. And good on Punk here for wanting to be a fighting champion, as he could have taken the easy way out just to wait until WrestleMania. But side note, with 50 days, or over 7 weeks, from the Elimination Chamber to Night 2 of WrestleMania, that would really be a long time between title matches had Punk not had a title match there. But come on, of course he's going to have one there, with it being in Chicago, just like AJ Lee had to come back for a match there as well. But no matter how good Balor may be, he obviously can't win this time around, and the only question is how this affects the Judgment Day dynamics going into WrestleMania when he loses this match. But for now, Punk and Balor at the Elimination Chamber is definitely a worthy placeholder title match. Topic number 5, 2 for tags. Speaking of title matches, we had 2 this week, both being tag team title matches, with Rio clearly being in no danger of losing their tag titles here, as no one really expects Julia to be a double champion, let alone a triple champion that they keep speaking of. But that's not to say I'm not over the moon with what I'm seeing out of Julia and Kiana, especially near the end with Kiana powerbombing Io onto Rhea, and following that up with a 401k, and then Julia going arrivederci on Io. But Rhea put an end to that here with a headbutt and riptide on Julia to let Io go over the moon salt to win this one. But good work all around. But I can't say the same for the World Tag Team title match, as the Alpha Academy surprisingly took it to the Usos for most of this one, and good for Otis and Tozawa, but I'll again note that I'm pretty worried about these guys, as Tozawa was surprisingly looking quite upset and emotional at the end of the match. But the moment that was worrisome here was Jay's near whiff on his super kick to stop the Caterpillar, and did he always have this happen and we just never worried about it because they were only in tag team wrestling? Or is this something that is really going on in his head at this point? Oh well, the double spear into the 1D was at least a good ending. So let's go to the winner of the week, and that is Javon Evans and the original El Grande Americano. And wow, that OG cutter off of the top rope really was amazing. And I have to say that was possibly the move of the entire year, and we're seeing it already here in February in what was otherwise mostly a throwaway tag team match. Evans is really bouncing all over the place, and this man just can't be stopped, and I almost can't imagine how much better he can get with all of this incredible high-flying moves as he continues to gain more experience, but casually having that stunner early on also made my eyes pop out. But I have a feeling that he's going to at least lead Raw in matches this year. And then there is the original El Grande Americano being the obvious but awesome surprise tag team partner here, as Original was Germaning and double Germaning Rayo and Bravo all over the place. I would have liked for him to cheat with a loaded mask at the end during the flying headbutt, but he obviously didn't need to do that. And this is probably my favorite thing going on right now, and it's even better that the face-heel dynamics are switched in AAA, so I'm really looking forward to them keeping this going all the way until WrestleMania. So the loser of the week is Kit Wilson, and Wilson is doing everything right with the new theme music and this tweak gimmick about everybody else being toxic and him being a real man. But I am concerned this is going to fizzle out very quickly, because seriously, this glow up so far just got him to be the immediately squashed opponent in about 1 minute to Obafemi. And being the guy that's on the bottom of the totem pole to take that first loss to Femi in his one-on-one main roster debut is definitely not a great sign. and the fact that this gimmick is leading to some sort of feud with Matt Cardona, who seems to be already settling in right at the bottom where he left off, is not great for either of them. So both of them could be toxic and in catering here before too long. But Femi, well, OMG, what a beast, 10 out of 10, no notes here. And I have to say, he's got to be in that third Elimination Chamber qualifying match for SmackDown, right? Well, looks like I did not beat the 10 count yet again, so I guess I'm not qualifying for the Elimination Chamber anytime soon. But before we get there, I wanted to wrap up the Royal Rumble by grading all the surprises and all the booking decisions. So if you missed that, be sure to go right on over here and check that out now that we're on the road to WrestleMania. So until next time, I am the SportsZu, and this has been Stop the 10 Count.